Thank you, Chairman Loker, for the wonderful introduction, and thank you, Reverend Sawyer, for the wonderful and timely invocation. This is the first time I had a chance to meet most of you all. We've been communicating by email with Chairman and with Junior, but most of you, this is the first time I've had a chance to address you in person and even get to know you. Junior and I have been friends for close to 4 years. The project started 2 years ago when we first discussed doing the timber project on the island of New Ireland. Since then, I want to review with you what we've been doing, how it's been working, why it's taken as long as it's taken, and then secondarily tell you where we hope to go to and what the opportunities are for our group. When Junior approached me about doing the project in New Ireland, I was in Bougainville and had a fairly rough situation dealing with the government and the local people there, and my first words of advice to him was, let's make sure that the government supports what we're doing. We do it correctly according to the rules and regulations of Papua New Guinea. This entailed you guys going out and finding the various investor landowner groups that you have, and also developing the entire region as one company, which you've done in Topaio Holdings Limited. Topaio Landowners Association, on the other hand, is more of the representative body of all of the people who own the properties. And I think they've put together a very solid business plan for how you guys will interact over the next, hopefully 35 years. As you realize, timber development and then the reforestation process will allow us to grow into a project that will last not only for our lifetime, but hopefully for our children's and our children's children's lifetime. The laws of Papua New Guinea says that a timber concession must have a 35-year growing cycle. So that means once you get the valuation, which means the total value of the timber, you are only allowed to harvest 1/35 of that amount of timber. So that's what our goal is and our number is. So once we decided that, once we were clear that both Topaio Holdings and Topaio landowners were organized correctly, the next deal was to get a viability study done. And a viability study means that you get as much information as you can all the way across the country, both from the internet and from any kind of documentation we can, and then people who are knowledgeable sit at their desk and figure out what that value is or whether the project could be viable. So what happens is that we went out on the internet and searched, and if you look on thebeckgroup.com, you will see a bunch of information about Tom Beck, who is the gentleman we determined would be our timber consultant. Now, Tom is, as you can look at the site, will tell you, is a very, very solid and long-lasting career in the timber industry. So he is the right guy. So we paid Tom, and he went out and developed this viability study, which showed that the project was very viable. And then based on that viability study, Tom said we need to hire a local group to come out and do the valuation. And what that means is, because they have a better understanding of the species mix on the island, so we determined we needed to do a feasibility study. And the people we reached out to actually do the timber counting was a group called Chandler, Keating, and their responsibility was to, or will be, to go out and count all the trees and give us an actual valuation. Tom will come over and he will do the work on the timber mill, logistics, shipping, and he'll have all that information for us. So based on that total amount of information, we will know what the value is, what it's going to cost us to do the project, and where we'll go from there. So all this information we've got is what we've been working on for the past 2 years. My being here is now to talk about the future and where we're going to go with this, and the next steps are to complete the feasibility study. Based on the feasibility study, then we can go out to all the different individuals out, the different types of funding, whether it be a hedge fund or the World Bank, to create the funding for this project, which we expect to be around $14 million. So now that I'm completed with the introduction and basically where we stand, I'm glad to take any questions you might have. Thank you all very much.